Today is Monday, December 29th, 2025, and here is the news that you can use. Government IT moves faster than your inbox. By the time you've cleared morning emails, cleared security, and grabbed coffee, 3 agencies have issued new guidance. CISA added 2 vulnerabilities to the KEV catalog, and a major contractor announced a cloud partnership that changes your procurement landscape. You need to know what happened before your first meeting, not by reading a dozen websites or waiting for vendor newsletters that arrive 3 days late. That's why the Exchange exists. Hosted exclusively on Matora Solutions website at tie.matora.solutions. That's tie.matora.solutions. The Exchange delivers government IT intelligence in 2 formats designed for how you actually work. The Exchange Daily Newscast provides a focused 5 to 12-minute audio briefing every weekday morning, covering developments that will affect your decisions today. The Exchange Weekly Newsletter delivers a 10,000-plus word strategic analysis every Monday morning, synthesizing the previous week's developments into actionable intelligence for the week ahead. Together, they ensure you never operate blind. The Daily keeps you current on breaking developments, while the Weekly connects the dots, identifies patterns, and provides the strategic context you need for planning and decision-making. This is hyper-focused intelligence for the government IT community. For example, in the Exchange Daily and the Exchange Weekly published today, we cover the AI governance deadline, the CMMC requirement hitting your next RFP, the cybersecurity threat targeting your infrastructure, the appropriations markup that will freeze your modernization funding, and the cloud provider announcement that creates negotiating leverage. The weekly newsletter goes deeper, analyzing how 5 separate developments converge into a single strategic challenge, explaining what the December 29th AI policy deadline actually means for your procurement process, and providing phased implementation guidance that accounts for federal budget cycles and compliance timelines. Every story is filtered through 32 years of federal technology experience and 24-plus years of Navy C4 SRI specialization. We know the difference between what sounds important and what actually matters to your mission. Your colleagues rely on the Exchange for both tactical and strategic advantage. CIOs preparing for leadership meetings use the Weekly to brief executives on what's coming. Acquisition officials managing procurement timelines use the Daily to track immediate developments and the Weekly to understand policy trajectories. Systems integrators use both to identify contract opportunities before RFPs drop. Cybersecurity leaders use the Daily for threat awareness and the Weekly for risk context. State technology directors use the Weekly to decode federal-state conflicts and their budget implications. They subscribe because staying current isn't optional when you're responsible for technology that serves millions of citizens and supports national security. Here's what you need to know. Starting January 2026, the Exchange Weekly Newsletter moves to paid subscription only. This is your last chance to lock in year-end pricing. Normally $10 per month, right now through $11.59 tomorrow night, you can subscribe for just $7 per month. That's 30% off and less than the cost of a single coffee for weekly strategic intelligence that shapes your decisions and protects your budget. Want an even better deal? Annual Exchange weekly subscriptions are 50% off during this year-end sale, just $60 for the entire year. For organizations and executives seeking deeper engagement, direct consultation access, and advanced intelligence before it reaches the weekly newsletter, our Inner Circle Premium membership is also 50% off through year-end. Contact us at podcasts@matorasolutions.com for Inner Circle details. Subscribe now at tie.matora.solutions and join the community of government IT professionals who refuse to operate a day behind or a week blind. Daily audio newscast Monday through Friday. Weekly strategic analysis every Monday morning. Year-end pricing ends tomorrow at midnight. Because in government technology, yesterday's news is already too late, and next week's challenges need today's preparation. Enough chatter? let's get on with today's news. We're tracking a fresh AI startup bet around enterprise productivity, major NIST moves to industrialize AI for manufacturing and critical infrastructure, and a reminder that mobile zero days still hit the executive layer first. We've also got a practical runbook moment on Windows out-of-band patching and a planning flag for FedRAMP 20X Phase 2 milestones. Let's get into it. First up, the Monday AI market maker is Dazzle AI, a new company founded by Marissa Mayer, which just announced an $8 million seed round. The headline isn't celebrity, it's signal. Because early rounds like this tell you where top-tier investors think enterprise buyers will spend next. If you're a CIO or CTO, treat this as a vendor pipeline indicator and update your 2026 evaluation list, especially if you're chasing measurable productivity gains from AI without adding operational chaos. Ask any early-stage AI vendor the same 3 questions. What proprietary data advantage do they have? How do they secure customer data end-to-end? And what is the least risky pilot you can run in 30 days? If the answers are fuzzy, it's not ready for your stack. Next, NIST just launched new centers aimed at getting AI-based solutions into manufacturing and critical infrastructure, with a $20 million investment tied to collaboration with MITRE. For executives, this is a policy and standard signal that AI deployment is being treated as an economic security issue, not just an innovation hobby. If you run industrial operations, critical services, or any supply chain-heavy environment, you should watch this because it shapes what good looks like for AI assurance, cybersecurity expectations, and procurement language. The practical move is to map your AI roadmap to where federal standards work is going, because alignment now reduces rework later when customers, regulators, or auditors ask how you govern model risk. Put one owner on your team to track NIST outputs and translate them into vendor requirements, engineering guardrails, and reporting. Now to the patching reality check, because Apple's iOS and iPadOS 26.2 security content includes exploited WebKit issues, including CVE 2025-43529 and CVE 2025-14174. Apple's advisory language makes it clear these were used in highly targeted attacks, and that's why CISOs should treat this as an executive and high-risk user story, not just a consumer update. If you have VIP users, people traveling, or staff handling sensitive negotiations, your mobile patch SLA should be measured in days, not weeks, and you should verify the device is actually updated. Operationally, make sure your MDM compliance rules are strict enough to block access when devices fall behind, and pair that with a short, plain language message telling users exactly why this matters. The cost of inaction here is usually not downtime, it's silent compromise. Staying with patch governance, Microsoft shipped out-of-band updates in mid-December to address message queuing, or MSMQ, issues that showed up after the December security updates. This is a classic example of why change control has to be fast and disciplined at the same time, because the security patch cadence can break business workflows, and emergency fixes can break them again if you don't test correctly. If you rely on MSMQ for line-of-business apps, queue-driven processing, or integrations, you should confirm which KBs apply to your server and desktop populations, and then validate critical workflows under load, not just a quick smoke test. The most important governance move is to run a tiered ring deployment, so production-critical systems get validation before broad rollout, even when the pressure is high. This is also a good moment to standardize your KB mapping and evidence capture so you can answer quickly what changed, when, and why. Turning to federal operations, FedRAMP 20X Phase 2 has a published milestone calendar, and the Cohort 2 application window runs January 5th through January 9th, 2026. If you're a cloud provider, this is your near-term gate, and if you're a federal buyer, it's a preview of which services may show up with new authorization paths and more automation in their evidence. The strategic value is not speed alone, it's repeatability, because automation-friendly controls and continuous validation are the direction of travel across federal security programs. The practical step for teams is to review the Phase 2 participation criteria, identify the evidence you can automate today, and pressure test your audit trail for ongoing security decisions. Even if you're not in the pilot, the patterns that win here will become procurement expectations. Now for secure software. Because NIST's Secure Software Development Framework (SSDF) version 1.2 draft is open for public comment, CISOs and engineering leaders should treat this like a contract and assurance update, because SSDF is increasingly used as a baseline when buyers ask how you prevent vulnerabilities, not just how you respond to them. If you have third-party software suppliers, or you build software that runs critical workflows, this is a moment to refresh your Secure by Design checklist and ensure your SDLC evidence is real, repeatable, and reviewable. A practical next step is to map your current tooling and processes to SSDF practices, identify the 2 biggest gaps, and pick one automation win you can deliver in the first quarter. This is how you turn secure software from a slogan into a measurable operating system. Related to governance, NIST also revised its IRA 286 suite on integrating cybersecurity risk management into enterprise risk management, or ERM. This is executive-grade material because it helps you translate security posture into risk language that boards and finance teams actually use, including appetite, tolerance, and portfolio-level trade-offs. If you've ever struggled to connect a control gap to a business decision, IRA 286 is meant to close that gap with a consistent structure and reporting approach. The practical action is to align your cyber risk register with enterprise risk reporting, then standardize the way you describe likelihood, impact, and treatment options. When you do that, budget conversations get cleaner because you're debating managed risk and return on mitigation, not debating whether security is important. Now for a quiet dependency that becomes loud during incidents, because NIST issued a notice that the Boulder Internet Time Service hosts could be inaccurate after a prolonged utility power outage. Time drift sounds small until you remember what it breaks, including authentication flows, certificate validation, distributed logging, transaction ordering, and incident forensics. If any of your systems hard code specific NTP hostnames, you're more exposed. And this is your reminder to use resilient configurations with multiple sources and a clear failover plan. The practical move is to inventory where your environment gets time, validate you have at least 3 independent sources where possible, and add monitoring that alerts on drift before it becomes an outage or an investigation problem. Time is security and it is operations, even when nobody talks about it. Finally, a policy and infrastructure item to watch, because HR 6920 includes language around BEAD subgrants and the meaningful use of AI-supportive telecommunications infrastructure. State broadband leaders and public sector CIOs should read this as a signal that broadband funding narratives are shifting toward capability outcomes, including public safety, workforce, national security, and AI readiness. If you're building state digital services or planning regional economic development tied to connectivity, this kind of language can shape what projects qualify and how states justify spend. The practical step is to have your broadband and IT teams align on an AI-ready connectivity roadmap, including data center adjacency, public safety comms, and workforce training partnerships. Even before a bill becomes law, the direction of the conversation can change how funding decisions get made. That's it for today. As you plan the week, focus on 3 things. Patch fast where exploitation is confirmed, build governance that survives out-of-band updates, and treat foundational dependencies like TimeSync as part of your security posture. If you want to talk through any of these stories from a CIO, CISO, or CTO perspective, Matora Solutions LLC is here to help, and you can reach us at info@matorasolutions.com. Thanks for listening to today's Exchange Daily. We'll talk tomorrow.